So many people assume that because we're women, we have fallopian tubes, we have ovaries, we create eggs, we just automatically can have kids. And unfortunately, that's not a case for a lot of women, 1 in 8 women to be exact. And one of the reasons I decided to share my journey with the world is because more often than not, when someone can do something that you can't, they can't comprehend, or they do not allow themselves to comprehend the idea that maybe you just can't do that. And sometimes when people have that mindset, it forces people as myself and other women who is on this fertility journey to suffer in silence. I've noticed that I never really went into detail as to why and how I'm in this fertility journey. People look at me, I'm a mom, I've been pregnant multiple times, I'm overall healthy, I go to the gym, I eat as good as I possibly can, yet I cannot have more kids naturally. A lot of people have the assumption that the reason I can't have more kids naturally is because I'm a lesbian. When the reality of the situation is, it didn't matter if I was married to my wife Tiffany or if I had a husband named Tom. Either way, unfortunately, I would have to be on a fertility journey. I would need IVF. And in thinking about these things, I've realized that I never really went into detail about why and how I became a member of this TTC community and why I'm on this fertility journey. So this video, I'm going to open up with you guys about everything that led to this point. This may be a long video. I might have to split it into 2 parts. But I figured I will go ahead and share it if I'm going to continue to use YouTube as a platform to help people. It doesn't matter if it's with fertility or if it's with food or if it's just in life in general. I have to be completely open and transparent. So this video, I'm going to share with you guys how I got here. So for me, my whole fertility TTC journey actually started unknowingly back in, I want to say 2000, maybe 4. I want to say 2000, around 2006. Let's just say 2006. And it started because I started having these random pains in my pelvic area. They wasn't pains that just stayed. It was like they just pop up like boop and then they disappeared. And this went on for months. And every time I would feel it, I just ignored it. You know, I was in my 20s. Life was as great as it could be. I was living it up. Wasn't in a relationship, but your girl was dating. Hey girl, hey. So in my young 20-something mind, I took the assumption that I was getting these pains because sex was a little too rough last night. And over the next few months, they just started coming persistent and persistently and persistently until one day I had the pain all day. I mean, I was at work like, damn, I don't even remember getting her last night. Like, am I hurting like this from the last time? Like, damn, did I pull something in the gym? Maybe I shouldn't have changed the living room around. Like, what's going on? And I had to stop at my mom's house before going home because I figured, let me drink some ice cold water because, you know, every old person in the African American community, if something is wrong with your stomach, your pelvis, any area in your midsection, they in their mind go get you some cold water and that's going to heal it. So I figured, let me stop at my mom's house, get me some cold water, and I can go home. It didn't work. I actually dropped to my knees because the pain was that severe. So my mom made me take off work the next day, and she said, you're going to the doctor. So I went to the doctor. They did blood work, they did urine tests, everything came back normal. I did have a urinary infection. That's no biggie. That's something that I've gotten since I was a child, mainly because I was severely anemic and I wasn't doing the things that I was supposed to do to help with my anemia. So that wasn't a shocker, but the doctors felt that that wasn't enough for me to be in that much pain. So they did some x-rays, they did some vaginal sonograms, and then they set me in this room. And the room was dark. The windows was open, but I remember it started to get gloomy outside, and I just felt some type of way. I just said, something isn't right. And when the doctor came in, he told me, well, I have some bad news. And I'm like, okay, now I'm running through my mind. I'm like, okay, I know, I'm pretty sure I only have protected sex, but did I miss it? Instantly, when a doctor tells you, especially a gynecologist tell you something is bad, you automatically assume you got the shit, like something is going up. And he said, well, no, you don't have a STD, but we believe you have a dermoid cyst that is the size of a grapefruit that we believe is cancerous. Here I am in my 20s, a mom, college student, working full time. Life is as good as it is, and my doctor is sitting in front of me saying, A, I got a dermoid cyst. B, he think it may be cancerous. And C, I need to have surgery to have it removed. Now, up to this point, I have not had any surgery, I don't think, up to that point. So it was scary for me. And then he put the icing in the cake. He said, but I'm not going to be able to do the surgery. You got to go somewhere else because I don't take your insurance for surgeries. So that should have been the first red light. Like, oh, wait a minute, bitch, get a second opinion. Like, because it didn't make sense. How is you my doctor? You take my insurance when it comes to doctor appointments and all of this that you did today. But now that you, who is also a surgeon, is telling your patient that I need surgery, now you don't take my insurance? That should have been a red light then. But for whatever reason, for me, it wasn't. And if you guys are trying to figure out what a dermoid cyst is, I don't have the pictures anymore that they gave me, so I did go on Google and I pulled 2 photographs of what a dermoid cyst / tumor is, and I'm going to include those pictures right. So a dermoid cyst basically is a mass or a tumor that grows. Sometimes they are created by fibroids. They can grow hair. They can grow teeth. They feeds and they grows off of your bloodstream. But in no way, shape, form is it a fetus or old fetus or a fetus that didn't make it. That's not what it is. It's something that just happens. So I had to find a surgeon on my own. I found a surgeon. He did not run any tests himself. He didn't do any of that stuff himself because my previous doctor and his clinic sent over everything, every test result, every x-ray, every sonogram. So he didn't feel the need to charge me again for having to do that. So he scheduled me for the procedure. He looked over everything they sent, said, yeah, you need it based off of what they found. You do need it, blah, 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 blah. Schedule me. I go to the hospital. While in the hospital, before the surgery, him and his assistant came in. They let me know everything that they're about to do, what's going to happen, what they're going to take out, how they go close me up, you know, normal stuff. I remember being rolled to the back. Then I remember waking up in my room. I woke up in my room in excruciating pain. I never had a C-section before. Bravo to you bitches. Because that probably was the most painful thing I've ever experienced. I had a cut from left to right. It was stitches on the inside and the staples on the outside because they had to cut me open. This is the thing. The doctor came in, him and his assistant. They sat down beside me. He said, unfortunately, the surgery wasn't successful. So I'm thinking, oh my God, so that thing is still in me? And he's like, no, we opened you up. It was no mass. It was no cyst. It was no tumor. It's absolutely nothing in you. I do not know what they found. I don't know how their x-ray machines put something in you. I don't know what's going on, but it was nothing inside of you. And I'm like, oh my God. He said, but unfortunately, you do have a lot of scar tissue. And I'm like, how do I have a lot of scar tissue? And he's like, I was going to ask you because looking over your records, I can't find anything that says you had abdominal surgery prior to this. So where did the scar tissue come from? And I'm like, I don't know. He said, I tried to clean up the scar tissue the best I could, but it's so much that it's literally growing on top of your left tube. He said, sometimes it could be different things it could come from. It can come from different types of birth control. The most common thing scar tissue can come from is surgery. I can't tell you where it comes from because I wasn't your doctor before now. But I will tell you because it's so much damage inside of your body. You will never be able to have another child naturally. That's what he told me. I'm in my 20s. I just got cut open for nothing. And now you're telling me I'm never going to have more kids? And he's like, I'm not saying you're never going to have more kids, but the only way possible I see you being able to have more children is via IVF or adoption or surrogacy. And surrogacy is the most expensive. This is what he told me back then. So for years after that, I didn't try. I said, okay, I'm just going to focus on finishing college. I'm focused on not just having this job, but getting somewhere that can grow into having a career. I'm going to focus on my daughter. I'm going to focus on all of these things. And over time, I did have a few oops that led to miscarriages. I've gone through some stuff with this. Fast forward 2013, I'm finally at a place where I have a career, I have a stable environment at my home, everything in life is great. I'm ready to try to have kids. I done research insemination and things like that. I knew I could do this myself. Let me go to the fertility doctor. I went to a fertility doctor in 2013. Montgomery Fertility in Rockville. I believe it's in Rockville, Maryland. I can't pronounce the doctor name. She told me that I needed to have my left tube removed because it was so damaged from the scar tissue that I already had, the scar tissue that developed after the surgery that I didn't need. I needed to have it removed. And the reason I had to have it removed was because the scar tissue was growing around my tube and it began to squeeze it. And when it squeezed it, it was releasing fumes that I didn't even know. So we agreed to have the surgery. She stated that once I have the surgery, I'll be able to do IUI. I'll be able to do IVF. I can do whatever it is I want to do. This is what she told me. She said I can get pregnant naturally if that's what I wanted to do. So she didn't do the surgery. Another surgeon had to do the surgery, who was awesome, by the way. And the surgery was a success. He cleaned up everything. He removed the bad tube. He cleaned up everything. And at that point, that's when he gave me the clear to get pregnant via IVF or IUI. Getting pregnant naturally, he said it was a possibility, but it's not a guarantee. So at that time, a couple of months later, my wife and I tried an IUI. That didn't work. Then I held off for a little while. I went to Shady Grove the first time in 2015, and I got a consultation with Dr. Katz. He was professional, but he rubbed my wife and I the wrong way when he stated after looking over my file, he stated that since the insurance was paying for it, I might as well try whatever it is. He never said if it was a possibility that I will get pregnant. He never said anything, so we left. We held off a couple of months because that put us in a funk. We tried to go back to the first fertility clinic, Dr. Padilla, who was awesome, but my insurance changed. We were told by my gynecologist that he was no longer accepting that insurance. He said that's not true. He does. It was a battle for a few months. Finally, my gynecologist said I had no other choice but to go to Shady Grove Fertility, even though they rubbed us the wrong way a year before. I had to go to Shady Grove Fertility. We started with Shady Grove in January of 2017, and it was a year of Fertility hell doing fertility, and that's how I got here. When I share what I go through, it's not to throw Shady Grove under the bus. I know they are the top fertility center in the nation. They are supposed to be the best of the best. They do have some awesome doctors. I know that because the most recent doctor I had with them, she is amazing. I have friends who has also been treated by different locations other than the one I go to, and their doctors are amazing. But based off the treatment I received there, I think a lot more training needs to be in place with them. So that's what led to my fertility journey. That's why I'm at this place now. Long story short, because a doctor misdiagnosed me while I was in my 20s, which caused a lot of problems. And because of those problems, here I am, 37, going through fertility since I was around 36. I would say 36, 35, 36. And all over a mistake. I know some of you guys are going to ask, like, oh my God, Gina, why didn't you sue? I did, girl. I did. I went to the top lawyer in the Washington, D.C. area. The Cochran firm. They are known to be the best of the best. And I went to them, my lawyer with them, Mr. Amore. He has his own firm now. You probably see him on TV. He was amazing. And we took him to court. We got everything. We got to the point of going through depositions where their lawyers and my lawyer is there, and their lawyer has the right to ask me whatever they want. And then it's the other way around, and then I'm not there, but the other party is there. And we got to that point. All of the depositions was done. It was to the point where the doctor and the owner of the clinic wanted to settle, and that way we did not have to go to court. And I think he was trying to settle because in Washington, D.C., there is a cap on how much you can actually get. At least it was back then. For say, for instance, if a jury orders $1 million to you, technically the person only has to pay you up to $650,000. That's how it works. So they was trying to settle for less than that. Then one day my lawyer asked me to come in. He sat me down. He said, we got to put a hold on the case. We're going to make it inactive. And I'm like, why? And he said, because they found out that in the lawsuit, it was against Dr. Blake. That's the doctor who treated me. That's the doctor who told me it was a tumor. That's the doctor who did my sonograms, everything. It was him. And it was the owner of the clinic, Dr. Austin. And the name of the clinic was Cyst Health on Branch Avenue in Temple Hills, Maryland. It also goes by the name of Uplift Medical. And in trying to finalize everything, they found out that Dr. Blake, although he was negligent and he did misdiagnose me, some way or another, I couldn't go after his malpractice insurance. I had to go after the owner of the actual clinic. Because Dr. Blake did feel bad, I was scratching right here, y'all. Although since he did feel bad, he offered to pay for IVF treatment for me whenever I wanted to take advantage of it. We proceeded to sue the owner of the clinic and the clinic, who was Dr. Austin, and the clinic, Cyst Health. And my attorneys unfortunately found out that he did not have any malpractice insurance. And the reason he did not have malpractice insurance because his medical license was taken away from him a few years prior because of other lawsuits from other women. So his medical license in the state of Maryland is null and void. But somehow he was still practicing medicine in Maryland. Somehow he was still allowed to open a clinic with no medical license. It's crazy. And not only did he not have malpractice insurance, but he owes the Internal Revenue. He owes the state of Maryland. He owes the state of Florida. And I believe, I want to say Virginia. It's another state he owed. And the way that works is with lawsuits, the government will have to take their money from him first. And then I can get my cut. And if I don't get my cut, that means the Cochran firm won't get their cut. So they felt like it will be too many years before we seen any money. To this day, Cyst Health is still open. To this day, it's still owned by Dr. Austin. To this day, he still has not paid any of the taxes that he owes to the IRS or the states. To this day, I've had no recovery. So basically, my body was screwed up and it's nothing I can do about it. In my mind, I felt like, as my attorney, I don't give a goddamn what the government wants from him or what they have to collect from him. I feel like, why can't we go after a couple of his homes? He has a total of 7 properties in different states. Why can't we seize his home? Why can't we put liens on his properties? That way we get our money. You know, why can't we do that? If the government comes in afterwards, that's on them. But for whatever reason, Cochran firm did not want to do that. The case is still on the books in the state. If I ever can find an attorney that was willing to take the case on, then I definitely will pursue it. I'm not sure if Dr. Blake still practices. I'm not sure. But for years, I contacted him to take him up on his giving me IVF off the strength that he misdiagnosed me, and for years I was ignored. So yeah, that's why I'm on this TTC journey. It has nothing to do with me being a lesbian. I'm not trying to take the easy way out. None of that. If it was as simple as sleeping with a man, I probably would have had more kids years ago, because I did not fully come out of the closet until 2013. So that's not it. And in no way, shape, form, or fashion is IVF or IUI or any fertility treatment, adoption, surrogacy, donor eggs, any of that the easy way out. It was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to go through. It takes a lot. It strains your body. It strains your bank account. It's very emotional. It's stressful. It's a lot. It's no way the easy way out. So I hope that answered you guys' questions as to why I need fertility treatment. And if you have any questions about this super long video, comment below, and like always, I'm an open book. As long as it's not disrespectful, I will answer it. If it's disrespectful, I'm Queen of Petty, so I will be rude too. So until next time, happy holidays.